Hey guys, welcome back to XDA. Today I'm going to review for you a device called the One. It's made by a company called OnePlus. We've got in here at XDA. I'm going to do a review. I want to say thanks to Will from XDA for allowing me to have this device for a couple of weeks to be able to give you guys my thoughts on it. I'm going to let you know if it's worth getting, if it's something you should even bother with, or just pass and wait for the next flagship to come out. But the main thing I want to make sure you guys are aware is that this is a review of the device, not the company. So I'm going to give you my experience with this specific unit. Let's check it out. Okay, so we're back inside right now and we're going to actually start looking at the actual device. And as far as first thing we're going to go for is the build. What is the type of build quality that you're getting out of this device? And really out of the box, when you look at it, it actually has a nice, very premium looking feel to it. And it actually feels pretty good in the hand. No squeaking, no bending, no shaking. You're not expecting to find any loose screws in there or anything like that. It's actually built pretty well, and the actual display looks very, very nice. You have this kind of metallic, almost metallic-like band around the screen. It's right under it, and it actually gives it a nice little display, and it just gives it a nice little contrast to look at. The backing on this here is charcoal black, so you have that fabric, well, almost like a textured back that gives you the ability to have a better handle. But the main thing you want to keep in mind here, it is pretty prone to actually showing oil residue hands. So if your hands are either not exactly clean or whatever, you're going to see some residue on it. But the beauty of it, again, you can change the back. That's one of the main benefits of this device. Not that easy to remove the back, but you can definitely change the back. If we go through the aesthetics, mostly what you have here essentially is a 13 megapixel shooter in the back, 5 megapixel shooter in the front. That's for front-facing camera for selfies. And then the main thing you also have here is you have capacitor buttons at the bottom where you're able to switch them to be on-screen buttons. You have dual firing bottom speakers, and I say that because they're not stereo. They're basically providing you with the same experience over multiple speakers. Gives you the ability to get a higher level of sound, but not exactly that surround experience. The other thing you also get here essentially is the ability to have just to change your SIM card at this point. You have also the volume rocker on the left, and on the right side all you have is a power button that you probably will never use. And I say that is because the functions and some of the shortcuts in there, and I'll show you guys later, give you the ability to do things with this without having to go beyond that. Next, we're going to go through essentially and just basically cover that this is a 5.5-inch display. It's bigger than your average phone. Actually, if you see, I'm comparing it here to a Note 3, and they're practically about the same size, even though the Note is just about 5.7, not that much bigger. This is definitely a two-handed device, so if you're used to using a Note 3 and you're comfortable with that, then this may be actually okay for you. But if you're coming in from like a Galaxy S4, Galaxy S5, you're probably going to need to start getting used to using it in two hands. As you guys saw here just a second ago, I was showing you guys that it's pretty comparable in size to the Note 3, because once you start really looking at it, it has a better CPU, it has the same amount of RAM, slightly less of a battery. This has 3100 milliamp hour battery inside, non-removable, where the Note has a 3200 milliamp hour battery. So we're talking really phablet, specs here. But, rightfully so. This is really a phablet. It's a big device. It doesn't have a pen, obviously, like the Note, but it does work pretty well. Next, we're going to talk about what you get under the hood here. So we're talking about a Snapdragon 801 clocked at 2.5. It's a quad-core processor. We're talking about an Adreno 330 GPU with 3 gigs of RAM built in. The battery, as I mentioned, is a 3100 milliamp power battery inside. It's non-removable. Even though you can remove the back and see the battery, you can't remove it. It's actually soldered and connected straight to the motherboard. So replacement is not an easy thing. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying if Adam Antler had this phone, he'll probably be able to change the battery for you. But again, not all of us, not that many of us have Adam Antler, as our neighbor and say, hey buddy, can you change the battery? So just keep that in mind. It's definitely a nice size battery, and it lasts for a very, very long time. The other thing you want to make sure here, this has a 64 gigs of built-in storage, and it's not expandable. So we don't have the option of putting in an extra SD card in here to get more memory into this device. But I'm saying this just seriously, is that 64 gigs, you have so much space, you don't need to worry about adding SD cards. 64 gigs is what really I think the standard should be for a lot of our high-end devices, because once you have HD and Ultra HD video taken on these devices, you need storage. So 64 gig is where you need to be. 16 really doesn't make sense. Again, we have dual firing speakers at the bottom. They're not stereo, they're mono speakers, but they give you enough of a good experience that you really wouldn't notice it. It's just that if you start getting into a louder level and start playing heavier music, you'll notice the tingy kind of a sound, and you'll understand the difference between good and bad quality of music. We'll cover real quick the camera before we start talking as far as software. Now, what you have here is a Sony sensor in the back. This is very similar to the sensor that you see in the Find 7, and it's actually a very good sensor from the sense of hardware, and it takes really good pictures in good lighting. And I say that because, well, actually, if you think about it, any camera really takes good pictures in really good light. So the fact, though, is that you can take really good pictures. You can take 4K display, 4K videos, and you have a 5 megapixel front-facing camera, which also takes pretty good front-facing videos as well for video chat, you know, Skype or anything like that, or even Hangouts if you're trying to do them from your device. You will not be disappointed in the level of hardware that you get in here. The main thing that you want to keep in mind here is that this has to be complemented with a set of software that gives you the same benefit. So diving into the software, we're looking here at a custom-built version of CM. This is CM11S, and C11S is essentially only intended to work on this device. And the main benefit of having this version of software over here is that it's custom built to the system interfaces, to the sensors, to the functionalities, to the buttons. Everything on this device is intended to be working with the 11S. And that's what the main out-of-the-box experience that you get. Now, the beauty of it is CM puts in so much customization into their ROMs that you really almost don't want to change it once you get it. But if you do, XDA is here for you, so just keep that in mind. Make sure that you understand that, you know, out of the box, it's not rooted. You want to keep that in mind. It actually does have a lot of customization from a sense of theme customization, changing the environment. I don't know if you guys could see here, but I've actually already installed an infamous theme on it, so it already doesn't even look anything like the initial ROM that I first turned it on and boot up and set up. It changes everything from the settings menu and everything, so level of customization is very nice. It doesn't mean that you can't root it, it just doesn't come rooted out of the box. So from a hackability standpoint, it's very, very much user and developer friendly. You're able to unlock the bootloader and basically install a custom recovery, and you're out. You're done, you know, and then root the device. So the device itself works like I cannot explain the way it works, how good it is. I've had it for about a week and a half, and it works consistently at performing at the same level, no stutter, no hiccups. I've had one over-the-air update that came in directly from CM, and it's actually installed itself with no problem. I'll go show you guys a little bit, basically from a sense of hackability, the ability of obviously rooting the device, installing a custom recovery, and going through that process. But I'll put that in a different video for you guys. Here, what I want to make sure that you guys are aware of is the price point of $299 and $349 make this honestly one of the most irresistible devices to be able to get right now. And that's because of the level of specs for the price for the market right now. So get this if you're able to. I'm hoping this invite system kind of goes out of the door, and then basically you're able to move on and start being able to purchase this device. And the 64 gig is definitely the one you should go for. That extra $50, you're really getting a lot for your money there. The other thing I want to make sure, maybe hopefully in the next version of this device, the ability to remove the back cover. I know it's replaceable, and I know we are able to basically put in a new one on our own, but the fact of the matter is, it's very hard to take off, and it's going to be one of the more deterrent things for people to basically say, you're basically stuck with what you get. So a better experience there would have been nice, and maybe stereo speakers. But other than that, this is definitely a buy. From the sense of the price, and the hardware, and the specs, as well as the actual software, there's no way to pass on this. The next thing is hackability. You come here to XDA to be able to modify your device. Well, this comes with CM. Most people go to CM once they modify their device or get root. So out of the box, you're getting that. Also, if you like actually be able to change this, there's a pack ROM already available here on XDA. There's methods for different methods as far as rooting. And again, I'll put that in a different video. Hope you guys like this. Let me know what you guys think. Also, for full disclosure, I do have, and I'm experiencing slightly that yellow band thing at the bottom of the screen. But overall, it's not really hindering my performance experience, at least, enjoying the device. So I don't see this as a big problem. It's very, very faint. I'm almost not even able to see it. But I do see it, and depending on how clear the white background is, again, not a big issue for me. This device works, and it does exactly what it needs to do for me, and just keeps performing, and LTE. So like and subscribe to this channel, like and subscribe to my channel, and as usual, I will see you guys soon.